Hi there, we're back again after a lot of weeks of silence, and in this case, I'm with Simona Scanni. How are you, Simona?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Very good. Simona and I met because she was teaching me Italian. Poor lady. Tried to give me all the grammar tips, and I was like, nah, whatever.
No,
Italian grammar is difficult.
you were actually very good in Italian.
Thank you. So Simona and I have, of course, kept in contact, and I think we've been when you used to give me classes. This is almost like 5 years ago, maybe something like that.
I think more than 5 years ago.
Wow, that's great. And what I have seen Simona evolve from being a very great teacher that had the patience also through Skype to teach me and try to, bring the beauty of the Italian language to people around the world, to actually finish their degree, is now doing a PhD. She has now written a book with some collaboration with her daughter, which is lovely, and she's going to tell us more about that project. But Simona, first of all, what's the title of the book, and can you give us some context on the story?
Sure. So this is the book. It's written in Italian. So the title is La voce mia e decido io. In English, the voice is mine and I decide. So I wrote it with my daughter. I wrote the story and she drew all the pictures because she is really talented.
Yes.
And it's a story about this little girl who gets lost in a zoo, and she meets all these animals who help her in speaking, because the idea was because my daughter has some speech impairment, some language problems, nothing serious, but still we went to a speech therapist for a while. So I came up with the idea of this simple story, and all my daughter's friends really liked the book and the story in it, and also all the illustrations, which are very great. I mean, I think she is very talented.
How old is your daughter, your artist?
Now she is 6.
6, okay, yeah, no, I can see the illustrations are great, and it's such a lovely project to do in common. And I think that when we take stories that we all had struggles learning things, I remember we spoke about it before, about the R in Spanish and Italian. You have to roll it. I remember that phase of my childhood to be horrible. My mom trying to teach me to roll the R properly, and learning, being bilingual, having so many languages. But it's great when we take something that could be an impediment and we make it into something positive, which is, bringing the story to the rest of the colleagues, so people understand in school that what she's going through is nothing important, but also giving it a human side, which is great. So what made you write your, I believe, first book? What's the story? Lockdown, I guess.
Yeah, because last April the schools were closed again in Italy, so we stayed home for around 4 or 5 weeks. And I said to myself, we have to do something, because worst case scenario, I go crazy. That's what I thought. And so that's why the idea of the book. It's like we were doing something where the schools were closed.
Amazing. And so how is the collaboration? You first wrote the book or the story, and then your daughter Sophia, she got inspired by your words and then did the drawings, or did you?
We read the story together, and I said, we need a lion, and she wrote and she drew the lion. We need a girl, and she drew the girl. And then, because she loves unicorns, she wanted to draw a unicorn as well. So I had to change the story a bit and to include a unicorn in the story as well.
That's great. I'm sure it has to be incredible experience for her, such a young age, to have a project with you and then finally see it printed and share it with friends. How was that experience for her to go to school and be able to give the book to their friends?
She was very happy about it, and for the first time, she was like, it's like she understood she could draw. She was aware of her talent,
Yeah.
and she kept asking me, "So, mommy, I'm good at drawing. I have a talent." So I think that's amazing because we, as you said before, we took something like they call it disorder, but I mean, we took a problem and we changed it into something powerful for her.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely. No, this is incredible. And so I guess she's your first groupie and saying, Mom, let's write more stories. Are you going to try to write more stories for children in that line, or was this a one-off?
Well, I like writing, but right now I'm focusing on my research, so that's what I'm writing. I'm writing my thesis for my PhD, but I mean, who knows?
So just for everyone to know, we will add it also in the link later, but you can get the book. It's in Amazon. You can buy it online. I believe there is the Kindle version, the digital as well as the real one, and it's such a great present for children. And I think that because the illustrations are so powerful, even if we don't speak Italian, it's a lovely present that you can give to people for the children, so that they're tuning into different languages and ways of pronouncing things. So that's great. So Simona, tell us more about that PhD, because I feel it's very relevant for the current times with hybrid working, remote working, people being at home, universities opening or not opening up, all that kind of very difficult time we're currently.
Yeah. So as you said before, I started teaching Italian online. So I am a strong supporter of online learning and everything related to technology and teaching online. And so when I started my PhD about a year or 2 years before the pandemic, so when all the schools were closed and all over the world, and we switched to online learning, I was like, okay, it's happening, because I always supported distance learning, but I always thought about it as a good option.
Yeah.
To improve students' performance, to boost their motivation, but I never thought about it as I never thought of distance learning and as a compulsory option. It's like now we have to learn and to teach online, whereas before it was just something we could do. We can learn online. Now we have to. That's the difference. But this plot twist gave me a great chance to improve my research and to and now I feel like I'm conducting I'm contributing more to the academic field through my research in online learning and in learning of Italian as a foreign language online. So I feel more confident about my research now.
Yeah, because I would say one thing, because I have two friends that are university teachers and they had to go and teach online. And the way we teach is completely different. So there is a process of learning for all those people that used to teach in the room with people in front to suddenly go and do it digital. So there is a little bit this fatigue, this screen fatigue of, it's too sterile. I want real people around. And how do you communicate the dynamics that you build with students behind and beyond the classroom? So there's a lot of things a lot of open questions to be responded on that. Is there any specific findings or anything you can give us on your research, or is it too early and we have to have a call and a video in a couple of months?
It's a bit early because now I'm still working on the COVID part. The first part of my research, online learning before the COVID-19 crisis, is already done. And now I'm still working on the during COVID-19 phase. What I can say based on my personal opinion is that blended learning and hybrid learning might be a good solution, a good balance of both interaction, the need of interaction among students and teachers, and the need of keeping learning in such a period of time.
Yeah.
So I think blended learning might be a good solution, but we'll see. I will share for sure my results in a few months.
Yeah, I think it's almost like hybrid working, you know, part remote, part face to face. Then the question is, if we ever get over COVID, and we don't have like a crisis like we have now, how are we gonna, you know, find the balance then when we are not forced to be at home? And I also think, in my experience, and maybe you agree with that, the isolation through COVID has been really difficult for a lot of us. And I think that the difference is, if the world opens up again, you will have your professional and maybe your education virtual, but then the rest of your life is normal. You go out, you meet your family. There is some social ingredient that I think would be a good balance versus the lockdown that we've had, where we were at home all the time. It's that lack of engagement in all the aspects of our life that was the one that really paid a big toll in our emotions and our mental health.
I think this situation will give us the chance of rethink about several things in our life, what is really important for us. So it's not just about going out and living outside the house, but it's also about good interaction, emotional balance. I still don't have a specific opinion about that. I'm still considering my emotions and my mental health right now. I'm still working on that, and so that will be surely the next step in my life, to reconsider future perspectives, let's say.
Yeah, I think that we need to give ourselves a break in the distance of time to see what the greater impacts have been on an individual basis on this time of isolation, for sure. All right, Simona, so thank you very much for your time. It's been great chatting. It's fantastic that we could share the story, the book, all the curiosities behind that you work with your daughter on that. That's fantastic. And we're very much looking forward to chat in a couple of months and hopefully bring some insights on your research.
For sure. Thank you, Alicia, for having me today and for sharing my story.
My pleasure, Simona. Thanks.